All right, here we are, Sea Fleet race, Sunday morning, race 13C. 3 fleets going on this weekend. A, B, and C, 4 up, 4 down. All right, Lenny Bowes over early. Even to mention his stupendous footwear. Have to get a shot of those yellow slippers. But Sea Fleet race, got Bill Bridge off the front. Bill been sailing fast this weekend in the Somtam. 188 is Roger, I believe. And there's the blistering speed of the red Britpop, Bruce Anderson, Pride of Idaho. Drove all the way here with 3 boats, so Bob Wells could be a rock star in the Marbleheads and the IOMs. Bruce has been telling me about all his blistering speed all weekend long, but he's tacked right into a header there, so that's not good. Bruce is going to try the other tack, power up and go. Red boat train, Bruce Anderson and Gene Elliott heading west as the skippers lumber on. But who's in good controlling position here? We got Richard Diamond in the 5-2 boat. Not sure what's going on here today at the moment. Good west wind. Looks like it's kind of blowing right down the pipe on the angle of the boats. I got Jean Harris up there. She's sailing the Britpop in the 5-0 boat. As they chip away up speed. Lenny Bowes back in contact with the fleet, even after the over early. Here's Bill, squeaked his way to the right side. He checked out the left. As we come back, Keith Ives in the 8-8 boat, heading upwind. Somehow I managed to stay in B Fleet yesterday, so you get a peek at the C Fleet. Lenny Bowes doing some good clawing back, where he gets onto starboard like a civilized human. A man in his position has to do things by the book. Everybody's watching. As Lenny's sailing through a lot of this C Fleet here, so his K2 working good. Part of the Make K2 Great Again crew. A lot of people jump ship for the Viz, but nice job, Lenny, over early and getting to the windward mark in second. But they're all gobbled up here again. Got Stefan Cohen out here in the 2-8 boat. Going strong. Stefan, one of the faster Britpops here this weekend. Stefan always sails well here at the pond. He was commenting it's all his pre-race preparation that he does, which was basically nothing. He just shows up, throws the boat together, and throws it in. But a lot of us are in that mode sometimes. But Gene Harris working the far shore. Stefan coming over to the middle. Lenny, looks like Lenny's worked his way over the middle, trying to figure out what jibe to be on. As we head downwind, looks like Gene squirting out in front there, playing the angles. Lenny working the starboard tack, everybody else working a port tack. Lenny gets, Lenny's still on the starboard tack. Or no, yeah, no, Lenny's back in the groove, everybody on port tack.
Just took each other
Keith Ives. Look at Keith making it to the leeward gate first in the 8-8. He's the new boy with a dream in a borrowed boat. Not to infringe on your branding or copyright.
I have that trademark.
Not your trademark there, Jimmy, but you might have to.
You can be the man with a dream, not the boy with a dream.
All right. Keith Ives, man with a dream in the borrowed boat in the 8.8. Because Chris Steiger only wanted to buy one number for his boats. So cost cutting at the Steiger shipyards. As Keith working the far shore, Gene was in first there for a little bit. Lenny Bowes squeaking back in there. Over early, dead last start, and look at him back in the hunt for the bump up. Bill Bridge and the Somtam out there in the 5.9 boat. Richard Diamond, the 5.2, another K2. 5.2 K2. And some more blistering speed from the Idaho Express of Bruce Anderson. Bruce, governor of Idaho, is on the phone again. Wants to know how you're doing.
Tell him I'm doing just fine.
Just fine. You'd like the tax exempt status extended?
I would trade that for another 5 knots of breeze.
Okay.
Robert Land.
Governor's working on that. As Keith Ives just manhandling this Sea Fleet race. Keith drinking from the fire hose, borrowing a boat, learning how to tune the IOM on the fly, but Keith, man with a dream, has got broad shoulders. I think he can do it. So day 3, and he's already figuring it out. So we hate you, Keith. Thank you. All us slow learners dislike you at the moment. You haven't lived till you've sailed a 3-day regatta going slow off the back. And you have no idea why.
Yeah. Mystery.
Yeah. All right, but Keith's still out there out front in the 8.8. I think I got a new trademark for you too, Jimmy. I think I called you Rocket Boy one race.
Oh, okay.
I said told people to watch out for their roofs if you're around, to find you up on top of a house somewhere. A little fluky. Keith hanging on in the what is it? Vickers V10? V9? V9.5. Jury's out. But it is a Vickers, we know that much. Gray Vickers, kind of generic plain label wrap, nothing fancy. Only one number to remember, and that's an 8. Glad they got 4 of them on there.
Yeah.
So it reads the same frontwards, backwards. But all the sailing lawyers in the crowd want proper markings. Keith out front. Lenny Bowes screaming from behind in second place. Nice job, Lenny, in the 168. Yellow Bowes. Let's take this opportunity to get a shot of Lenny's footwear. Where is he? There he is. Look at that footwear. Look at that concentration. Nice job, Lenny.
As he almost walks off the hill.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, no change. Keith's still out front. Lenny has not seen a downwind job he does not like. He loves exercising that big spiral drum to flip that boom over. Sailboat RC. The K2 guys love it. They love that super variable speed winch with the spiral drum, just throwing that boom around. As Bill Brudge storms on by Lenny. Lenny, get that jib powered up. There you go. Keith with some indecision decides to go to the same outer mark one more time. Keith's running wire to wire. Lenny, yeah, go that one, Lenny. Go that one, left, that one. Yeah, that one. There we go. We'll see for Lenny. Hang on to top 4. So it looks like Keith and Bill are there. Lenny's there. Maybe Richard Diamond in the 5.2. But we got Gene Elliott saying, damn it, I got a new boat. It should at least sail in B Fleet. Isn't that how that works? You buy a new boat, Jimmy, you just...
Yeah, I think you get to automatic bump up.
Automatic bump up, yeah. All right, well, I think the guys on the right here have paid off. The righty came in, sailing straight up the pond. Lenny might crush Keith's dreams here. Keith gets a memo, gets onto starboard tack. But Lenny with dominating. This is the Lenny Bowes show, this Sea Fleet race. Did you take him out drinking last night, Jimmy? I told you to get him.
Yeah, no.
Get him a little buzzed.
He ditched early.
Oh no.
Really early.
All right. Well, he came to play. He's going to enforce some starboard rights on Keith.
He made that a little closer than he needs to.
Yeah. Some cooperative sailors. I heard him say, "Keep going, Keith." That was the top four coming in. Got Gene Elliott here hoping for a lift. Gene's on the starboard tack, heading towards the line. This battle for fourth is going to be a tough one here. It's like Keith got back into first, but wind's getting fluky. Keep those boats moving. As Richard Diamond out of nowhere. Richard's going to get the win, it looks like, in the 5-2 boat. Possibly. Tacks over. Whoa, Richard, nice job. Got it on film for you. Richard, Keith in second. Looks like Lenny in third. Bill Bridge squeaking in there for fourth for the bump up. So there's Gene Harris. There's Bruce Anderson trying to coax the Britpop up the lake. That's it. On to B Fleet. About 12-minute race. Guys are still finishing. All right, a little late to the start line. A Fleet race. Looked like a little kerfluffle there with George and Gil. And the benefactor, Mr. Chris Sullivan, out front, squirting out. NorCal. Britpop gets in front of everybody, crossing the fleet on port, clean air, all by himself. Nice job, Chris. Good start. And got Mark Gallison, the 5-5 here, working the edges. Mark, I believe, is in first after 2 days of racing. I think Mark, Jess, George, forget the exact, but I think Mark likes his position now with the big righty shift. A lot of up and down. My boat was like a bucking bronco that time, really rounding up. So I don't know if it's puffy or I got a bad tune. Probably a bad tune. But a couple little tweaks. We'll see how the next race goes. I managed to stay in B Fleet. Gil and Jess had a good battle in that B Fleet race. Get up here in A. 13A, I believe. My fans tell me I need to announce the race numbers more. Sunday, the 22nd. 13A. Got Jess Atkinson and the Puppies. Heading upwind. So we head up to the windward mark. Who got there first? Was it Mr. Sullivan? Should be Mr. Sullivan because he had a great start. First guy to tack, coming back right, and he did. That's Chris in the 6-2 Britpop, followed by Mark Gallison, the 55 Vente. Jess Atkinson in the 56 V12. Got Dennis Rogers in the 4-3, street fighting it out in the Vente. Got Jimmy Sears in the Mitch in the Sedici. The first Cicerelli design, Mr. Chuck Luscombe my staff reporter messaging in some Sedice Vente history, and I think I was correct. Designed in Italy, produced in Spain. But anyways, it looks like Chris and Mark are side by side as we head downwind, both on their port tack, port jibe, as they come downwind. Mark legs it out, or no, Chris legging it out. What am I saying? Chris shot out of a cannon. Looks like he's going to go to that far gate, maybe. Now the near gate. Nice tactical rounding. Start wide, finish tight, but don't hit it. So Chris gives it plenty of berth. Mark goes to the outside. We'll see where they cross. If one side was a big advantage over the other. Chris really legged it out on Mark. Chris tacking back, and the wind shifties straight up the pipe almost. As Chris heads out to the middle. Got Dennis Rogers in the 4-3. Jimmy Sears, boy with a dream, 7-4. On top of Jess Atkinson in the 5-6 boat. Looks like Mark and Chris are pretty close here. Chris still hanging on in the 6-2. Mark in compliance, saying we got a whole other lap to go. I don't need to win it right here. I can wait for my opportunity. So it's Mark and Chris. Dennis moving up. Dennis, I think, top 5, maybe top 10 for sure. So Dennis has been up there, the 4-3. I didn't do a good job memorizing the standings. That was Chris, Mark, and Dennis. Kind of 1, 2, 3. Jim Sears, Jess Atkinson in the 4-5. Larry Grant making his move. Dave Woodward, the 107. Cantoon S. It's got some age fading on it, but still going fast here, sailing in A Fleet. Jess comes over to the right side because the windward mark's on the right side. So everybody else, savages up there coming in on port, but we're gonna make it happen. Jess forces Jim to tack. Got Chris moving up there. Mark's up there. Mark's a little higher. Oh, Chris doing attack. Mark gets it. Mark just wears you down. The grinder. Mark Grinder Gallson grinding him down here. So Mark's out front, the 5-5, saying, guys, I'm day 3 leader. That means you guys follow, but nobody pays attention to that. Dennis makes his way into second. Chris in third in the 6-2. Jess and Jim struggling to get around the windward mark, just letting those guys leg it out. Just trying to get around. Just makes it. And Jim right on his tail. In fourth. Back in with our leaders. Here's Mark coming downwind. Give Mark a little cameo. Everybody can dissect Mark's sailing prowess. As the Vente shooting all this video, Mark is always just locked in on a rail. He probably doesn't, he won't tell you that, but I'll tell you that. But Dennis reeling him in. Vente on Vente action. White versus blue. 55 sail numbers versus 43. Dennis skirting the angles, maybe gassing Mark a little bit. So as Dennis and Mark play, Sullivan says, hey, I'll just drive right over the top of both of you guys. So great 3-way duel here. Let's see how they size up the gates. I'm sure Mark's not going to be on the outside of the wheel. Mark's going to go to that far mark. Chris is going to fall in line behind Dennis. Civil sailors that he is. Mark first. Dennis Rogers in second in the 4-3, and Chris Sullivan in third as Mark gets a little lift over there, attacks immediately on that outside to cover his bases on the first and second boat. Larry Grant doing Mark a solid, and well, Mark was port lured, but Larry stayed out of the way of the leaders. Always nice to do when you're one of the downwind boats. Stay out of the mix-up. You're already a half a leg back. But Mark, they're ganging up on him. Got Dennis and Chris just trying to give him the 1-2. Hear a little groan out of Mark there, 5-5. That's what happens, 2-on-1. I got him, but Mark's really puffy here today. Maybe it wasn't my boat tune. Maybe it was just rapidly changing conditions. As Mark's heading towards the finish line, Mark might lay it if the wind keeps on. As we stall out, watch out this first, second, third duel. Mark in the 5-5. Skirting over, Dennis squeaking up. Mark's going to look for that starboard ley line and tack, most like. Oh, Dennis has to tack, so Mark's going to tack with him. And oh boy, shiftiness. Dennis is getting above the line to try to lay it on port. Mark on starboard. Mark gets it. Dennis in second, Chris in third. Nice job, guys. Jeez, that was fun to watch. It's like, where's my boy with a dream? Jimmy, you were in fourth or fifth. There's Jess Atkinson in the Vermilion V12. Dave Woodward in the 107. There's boy with a dream, 7-4, part of the Draft Stripe Club. And that is 13A in the books. 10-minute race. So wind's picking up. All right, 14C, 2-9. They call Craig Mackey over early in the Patriot. Oh, an American. Way to go, Chris. Beating up on Craig. One of our veteran sailors here. Been sailing for years. Trying out the old skiff named Tabasco. Craig's got his red and white colors theme going. Usually in a Britpop for the IOM stuff, but who do we got up front here? My countryman out of Washington State, Bob Wells in the 07. Gene Elliott out of Orange County in the 7-8 V12. Cantoon S versus the Kiwi Vickers boat. Who else do we got in the mix? Bruce Anderson, another red boat in the 1-6 Idaho Shuffle. As they work the far shoreline. Not sure if that's a play because that's a long slog back, but I think Bob was pinned out. He had to do it. That is high up there. That can work. As they head back on port, Bob has to tack. Starboard tacker forced him to tack. Oh, Bob, you could have made it. Could have made it. It's hard to see the angle sometimes. Camera sees a lot more. There's a little discussion. Cameras always see fouls and whatnot. Skippers can't always see them, so don't label people a dirty, rotten, cheating liar from the video, because camera lens zooms way in. Things are happening fast in these boats. Most people are trying to sail clean, but mistakes happen, so try to enjoy yourself, have fun, and hopefully after 3 days of racing and lots of races, everything works out. Got a car beeping there. Bob Wells, way to go, state of Washington. My traveling partner out front, the 07 Cantoon S. Stefan Cohen making his charge back. The 2-8 boat, Britpop, as boys head downwind. portish tack, but wind is really, Bob's trying both tacks, settles in on port. Stefan's heading towards the middle, Bob's heading downwind. Nothing tricky on the downwind, keep the sails powered up, a little reachy. Maybe test, ease them in a little. It's way left, come on boys, it's a reach. Power up, Bob. Let's go! There we go. Bob going. We got Richard Diamond in the 5-2 who won one of the seeding races. Must have got bumped back down from B to C again, but a win's a win. It's always good to win any race. Got Gene Elliott in the 7-8. I believe Roger in the 188. Gene Harris in the 5-0 as Bob and Stefan check back in. We'll watch their roundings here. Looks like they're going to split them. Going to split them, folks. We got a ball game here. They wanted top 4, but Bob went to the outside, Stefan to the inside. Traditional logic says this close one is the better one. But we'll see. Sometimes the outside's been panned. Stefan lumbers up here and tacks on to starboard. Bob coming back on port. Gets a big shift. Bob tacks on it to head straight up the lake on starboard tack like Stefan. But these right shifts, right side, probably pays pretty good. But Bob's got some length. Stefan has to mingle with the downwind boat as we head north, west, where they're in San Diego. Washington we do a lot of north-south, but here it's all west. West is king, but Stefan on this near side pays off. Bob's gonna tack as we head upwind for the second time. And Stefan leading the charge as I get enamored staring at the sights. Offline and 2-8, Bob Wells in our Bob trying to make the angled draft stripe fashionable again. Just a single one right through the middle, that's all Bob needs. It's kind of like some 1980s mini truck graphics where they slanted to the front tires. Lots of stripes, love that mini truck era. Had a 1976 Chevy Love that I put a V8 in when I was in high school because I wanted to go faster. 350 horsepower in a 1,200 pound truck was always exciting. As I lived through my glory years of high school and watched Stefan Cohen leg it out on Bob, and Bob looks like Bob's giving up a spot to Gene Elliott in the 7-8 boat. Bob in third in the 07. Roger in the 188. Richard Diamond. Richard, I think, owns a magic store, Magic Castle, so we'll give Richard a little free advertising there as Stefan walks down the beach. A leisurely stroll down the beach when you're out in front. Bob Wells and Gene, that's where the battle's at for second. Second and third, but you just want to be top 4, so really the battle's at between those third and 4. So Stefan just making this an absolute boring race, just sailing off the front, just showing the fleet how it's done. So we'll check in for some more action here. We got 7-8, Gene Elliott trying to stay powered up in the V12. Bright, shiny V12. Gene's got a Britpop hull for sale. Said it was brand new, so if anybody wants a Britpop hull, find Gene, send him some money, he sends you a hull. That's how it works. Bob Wells in the 07, still hanging in there. And looks like Gene Harris in the 5-0. She moves up into 4th place. Nice job, Gene. And Who else is in the mix out here? Roger in the 188. Sorry, Roger, I gotta learn your last name. I know I've met you. Should know your last name, and I'm botching it. But Richard out there going for the world's largest masthead telltale award. Let's zoom in on that. That is huge. That is tremendous. So Richard always knows where the wind's coming from. As we're on the last leg, as Bob and Gene duke it out. We'll check back in our leader Stefan about half a leg ahead of everybody.
What are you doing?
So
Trying to miss you is what I'm trying to do.
he's doing okay. Some of the down.
We were going to collide. No, I was going to miss you until you started.
Gene with a little altercation with a downwind boat. Gene going upwind in third spot, so he gives up the third. Hopefully can hang on to his bump up. So Gene's got to make some magic happen here. Gene Elliott. We got Bob Wells, benefactor of that kerfluffle in the 07. Richard Diamond, 5'2", going strong. Gene Harris in the Britpop. Looks like she's pretty locked in, going solid, got a good tune. Beating, working it out. Stefan's already pulling his boat out of the water. That's a bummer. And second place isn't even coming in, and first place walking down the beach. That's where you want to be, kids. We all want to be Stefan someday. As Bob tries to power through the puffiness. In the 07, it's more wind than we usually see back in Washington. Looks like Bob's going to get second. Stefan's halfway back to the pits. Get a little goose there from the Idaho shuffle. If Gary Bull's not around to pinch your ass, it's Bruce Anderson will fill in. And I missed the call there. I don't know where people came in. I think I was assaulted. But all good fun here in San Diego. And that's how we go. 10 minutes in, wind's up a little. Hopefully the boat's working. B Fleet next. And there's your bottom four moving. Well, bottom four, there's no place to go. You stay in C Fleet.
I guess that was a general recall. This is race 15 Bravo. This is a guest cameraman, boy with a dream here. Got Gil on the far side, bang the beach, plenty bows,
No one's got to come on.
on in the right. Danny was up the lake trying to figure out how to get his boat to go a little faster. So I just grabbed his camera, figured out how to work it, and definitely dealing with this tiny screen. Looks like we got Gary Winton pounding up the middle, looking for that first bump up. Beautiful afternoon here in sunny San Diego. Breeze has been really nice all day, bouncing back and forth as it does here. Fleet's kind of scattered. We got Lenny just ducked Gary. Gary trying to lay that mark. Looks like we got Gary Winton around first, followed by, I think that's Lenny Bowes, then Gene Harris, and somebody, and then the peloton. All right, looks like Lenny's gonna, nope, they're all coming over. Yeah, I got you, Danny. Still got 5-4, Mr. Gary Winton. Big thanks to Gary for bringing my boat all the way from Florida in his camper van. Saved me the need to travel with it. Never fun taking those things on an airplane or sending it via UPS. Just ask Mr. Kenny Reed. Too soon? Okay, we got Lenny Bowes playing the left side down the run. It looks like the freeway is open over there on the far side. Okay, coming into the leeward mark here. Gary on the left, Chris Davidson, Aussie on the right. Gary coming off the beach. Nice puff. Ooh, guys on the left. Oop. Not the best angle, but not the worst angle. There's Lenny, the 168, currently occupying the 4th bump up spot, trying to get up into A. Here comes the sun glare. Apologize. Gary gambling on that far left. Let's see how that pays off for him. Oh, it looks like he's actually picked a nice spot to come across. Chris gets ahead of him. Ooh, look at that. Look at that righty. Oh, then it goes away. Yeah, 4-9. Gets ahead of both of them, I think. Ozzy throws in a little lead bow. Looks like he's going to lay the mark. Yep. Okay. 2-6. Chris Davidson first, then 4-9. Can't remember his name. Looks like Gary is going to get the 3rd spot. And if Lenny makes the mark, he'll have 4th with a white boat hot on his heels. No, I think that's Gene Harris. The Gunsmoke Blue. It's going to be a tight battle for fourth and fifth. 3 leaders are kind of just punched. This is a duel right here. Yeah, just focus on that. This is right here, the Gene versus Lenny for the final bump up spot. It's like Gene's finding a little pressure out on the freeway. Lenny jibes into the middle a bit. Let's see, where'd he go? He's got a nicer angle coming in. Ooh, Lenny's found a nice little hole. Yeesh. Not the most bueno. Wow, okay, we've got a 5-boat pileup for the 4th bump up spot. This is going to get good. Five boats in the screen, only one of them gets to go to A fleet. Like we got Gene around first, nope, right at the, and then 07 on the far mark, and 27 Barry Donaher on the far mark, followed by Lenny on the close mark. Stefan Cohen, Miami Vice boat, he was in the mix, backs into the middle. Like Gene just came off the beach here. She should. I like her spot just because she should get a nice little righty flick here. Which it is, as on the left, kind of not looking that great. Still right here, that's a 2-boat battle for the 4th bump up. Jean's going to see if she can get across, and she does. Covering the fleet. I'm going to just stay on this because the first 3 boats, they're just sailing. Nothing great. Okay, 2-6 got the first. Looks like 4-9 is going to be the next one. And Gary Winton will get 3rd, but then here we go. Looks like Jean really has this inner hand unless she does something. Oop, nice little round up with that puff. Looks like Jean should get the final bump up spot. Yep, she did. Alright, I gotta get ready for the next race. This has been Boy of the Dream, your guest, cameraman. Alright, this is 16 Bravo. Alright, this is your Boy with a Dream again. Race 16 Bravo. Looks like we got Bill coming off the pin like he likes to. 2-8 Stefan Cohen is nice and punched. We got Danny Boy, got flushed over to the right, but he could get that big righty.
Sorry.
Nope, he doesn't.
I'll do a circle.
Get a nice lefty to get the guys coming across.
Sorry.
All right, I wasn't ready for this. I got to put on the screen. Let's see. Like that. There we go. All right.
Careful, careful.
Oop.
Don't go walk down there unless you know there's a hole.
Okay, what do we got here? Let's see. We got Stefan, 2-8 Miami Vice boat, coming coming across. Oh, 2-9, Craig Mackey. Port starboard, let's go. Stefan Liebhaus. Good. 8-8. Keith Ives, King of Long Beach. Super accomplished big boat sailor. Very good in the 95s. And this is his first IOM regatta in Chris Stagger's borrowed V9 or 10, number 88. His learning curve has been steep, but he got into A Fleet earlier today, and this was his first time. He was pretty stoked. Okay, so who's that around first? That looks like Stefan got around. Nope, Stefan's second. Looks like number 16. That's Bruce, Dr. Bruce from up north somewhere, Idaho, somewhere in there. Let's see, and then we got Dr. Gene Elliott was third, and then I think that's Lenny Bowes or nope, that's 188. The other yellow boat. Okay. Let's zoom out a bit. We've got Keith, the 88. Trying to get something going over on the freeway. Ooh, and it just picked up for him. We have a 6-boat battle for the top 4 spots. This is going to get fun. Stefan currently out in front, right along with Dr. Bruce. Who's that other red boat? Oh, that's Gene. Dr. Gene Elliott. Looks like Stefan and Bruce are going to fight for the inside of this mark here. Looks like no overlap. Keith's going to go to the outside along with Mackey. Stefan coming across the middle now. Bruce went all the way to the beach with Gene, and here comes Keith and the mighty lefty. See how that works. Maybe not the mightiest of lefties by any means, but he's getting across the other fleet, so that's good. Looks like we got our top 4 right there. Okay, we'll see what's going on in the back here. Looks like Mr. Danny is past Gil. No. Thanks to Gil missing the mark. Okay, Keith's doing a spin. He doesn't think he fouled. I don't think I got it on camera, unfortunately. But let's see if Keith can stay up in the bump up, top 4. Looks like he's got some good pressure to work his way across here. Ooh, very nice lefty. A very, very nice lefty indeed. Brief but mighty. Looks like he's still in the top 4. Zoom in there. So we got Stefan first, then Bruce. Then, where was 188? Who was that? Okay, let's zoom in and see if Stefan can squeeze around the mark. He does. Stefan Cohen, Miami Vice boat. Gets around first. Followed by Dr. Bruce. Followed by Keith Ives. Friday to Long Beach. Keith runs the Friday night Dragonflight races out of Long Beach Yacht Club during the summer months. In my opinion, the best Dragonflight 95 racing, or any RC racing venue. When there's wind, which there usually is, and there's no weed, which there sometimes is. But the problem is it's a major channel for all the big boats coming through, so there's sometimes a bit of a traffic problem. But it's a wide open race course. Very subtle shifts. It's probably the closest we come to big boat racing in these model boats. Okay, Stefan is punched. Dr. Bruce next, then we got Keith. He's 88. It's gonna bug me. Don't have my names down like Shaky Cam Dan. Alright. Stefan's coming into the mark. Final gate. And then we got Dr. Bruce. Then Keith, owner of D-Ives hull cleaning service up in Long Beach. Business he started 30-something years ago. Okay, and then we got big pack of 4, the final bump up. So let's see how this pans out. 188, then Gil, and Dr. Gene. Bill goes to the far side, and it is on. One final leg. See who gets the 4 bump up spots. Highly coveted. Looks like the first 3 are pretty solid. We got Stefan, 28, still up out in front, but I'm going to stick to the battle here for 4th. Nobody really has any good pressure. Bill just got some on the left. Danny over on the left, making his move. Yeah. This is it. There's your battle right there for 4th. So we got 188 may take it though. It depends on which way the wind shifts. Stefan about to cross. Actually, it looks like here, I think there's our next 3 right there. Yeah, so the 188 was able to make the right work. Hopefully no shenanigans here. Everybody just play safe, play fair. Play it safe. And then Keith Ives gets the final bump up. Very nice. Welcome to A Fleet. Alright, I gotta get ready for my next race. Okay, so the last race, when I said it was 16 Bravo, no, I was wrong. I'm an idiot. That was 16 Charlie. This is the real 16 Bravo. This is Boy with a Dream. Boy with a confused dream about which race it is. And he's still up at the top of the lake trying to figure out how to make his rip cop go. Got number 5-4, Gary Winton, banging the beach, hoping for a righty. Looks like he's maybe getting it. Not the biggest righty. We got a big puff coming from the left though. You can see it. Oh, look at that lefty. We got Keith, 88, screaming in from the left. On 88 doing his turn. Got Mr. Gary Winton, 5-4, storming up the middle. Speed is spread across the lake, but pretty all on the same ladder rung, mostly same ladder rung. So reposition a bit here. Yeah, so all that stuff I said last race about Keith getting to A fleet, never mind. Although it looks like I can maybe, 88, Keith Ives gets across around first, followed by Gary Winton having a short tack. It's followed by Dr. Bruce and then another white boat. I can't tell who it is. Keith punched out over in the freeway. I think that's the boat in third was 2-6, Aussie. Chris Davidson, followed by Dave in the 107. We got Barry in his beautiful wooden, I don't remember the design. Barry Donaher, the 2-7. Pan over to Keith. Keith is punched out all by himself. Boring. Here we go. There's the action. Currently it's about a five boat race for the next 3 spots. Got Davidson hot on Winton's stern. I was going to use a different word, but kids might be watching. All storming down towards the gate. Keith got around first. Takes the outside. Looks like Ozzy's gonna, I don't know what he's gonna do. Got Barry with the puff, gets to the outside first, followed by, ooh, oh wow, okay.
You're taking way too wide a return, buddy. That's not a seaman-like grounding. I'm not doing return. Ridiculous. You might not even.
All right, looks like Chris did his turn. I believe I was watching somewhere else. All right, we got Barry coming across. And a bit of a lefty that caves on him. Oh. Got some his own commentary. Had Barry commentating his own video for a second there as he got into irons. Some rudder problems. Keith punched out. Nice. Here's the action. 5 boats all lined up. Looking with Chris in there, 6. The final 3 spots. Look at that. 2-6. Chris Davidson gets a nice little righty that lasted about 7 seconds and it's gone. Welcome to San Diego. Working up their middle beat Got one more lap after this. Or this is, oh, okay, you know what I'm talking about. Gary's getting the nice righty for 2.5 seconds. Followed by Dave, 107. He's on the same course as Keith, opposite tacks. Keith looks like he's going to get safely around first. Zoom in here. There he goes. Yep, Keith Ives first in the 88. Everybody else kind of in a... Okay, looks like Winton got a nice little puff to get him around the mark. Whoa, not quite. Yep. Okay, Gary Winton second, followed by the peloton. We got Keith still punched out, gonna go ride the freeway of love. Okay, here's the battle. Here's the battle for the final 2 spots. See, we got Barry Donaher first, then Dave 107, then 26 Chris Davidson, Aussie, and whoever 188 is, the yellow boat. No, I think that's 168. Let me zoom in. Mr. Lenny Bowes. Ironically silent for this race, but suddenly snuck into contention. See what he can do. Get that chip full. Let's go to the leaders here. We got Keith first, followed by Gary and a puff, followed by Aussie, Chris and a puff. Nope, not a puff. Yep. And then 168 Lenny Bowes and 107 Dave something. Barry Donaher. Okay, this is on here. Battle for 4th. And that final bump up. There it is, it's all on.
107 is on starboard, 168.
I knew that.
No.
Oh,
Crying out loud.
oh, Barry's got
Go ahead, 27.
Barry's able to get the overlap right when he needed it. To have a narrow lead on that final 4th spot. Pan over here, looks like Gary's been able to close the gap, but they're both sailing very conservatively. They don't need to win, they just need to not let any boats pass them. Too many boats, that is. Okay, here's the action right here. Look at that. Okay, the first 3 are to your right. This is the battle for the final spot. Barry has them all under control. Dave in the 107 feeling out along with Stefan Cohen. Stefan goes back. Barry comes across in a nice little lefty. Oh, but we got 188. He may get, nope. Let's see, this is an important cross here. If Barry can get across. Oh, and a nice lefty for Barry. But him and Lenny, pretty tight. Barry bails out. And a nice righty pointing towards the mark. Lenny Bowes hoping for more. Doesn't get it. Okay, so I think it was Keith and then Gary and Aussie, Chris. It's going to be next. Going to focus on the battle for 4th here. A little light spot. They're all sitting. It's like Barry's going to get it, I think. Barry Donaher gets the 4th bump up stop to glory. Another Aussie. All right, now it's time for A Fleet. I gotta get ready. This has been Boy with a Dream. Dream of confusion of which race we're in. Out.
$15 seconds to go. 16A Sunday. February 22nd. We're off. Very civilized. Looks like everybody's going to fight for the boat end, and then they all spread out. Look at that. Just a beautiful line of starboard boats. Heading up the wind. Heading up the lake, I guess I should say, here in the westerly. Jim Wondelek's the first one to come back and try to cross everybody. Gets fed a little starboard love from George Pedrick. Jimmy Sears did some guest filming as I had a talk with my boat and crew about getting out of Sea Fleet. Not sure if they're going to do it or not, but got Chris Davidson in the 2.6 here, luffing and stalling on starboard. Getting into the glare zone, I got to move to my filming number 2 position, which another 50 yards up the lake here. As we get later in the day. Not sure what time it is. 2 o'clock maybe. So. Maybe another hour or two of racing. A-fleeters doing A-fleet things. Jim Sears in the 7.4 boat here. As Mark Gollison. He's been doing his leading today. Gets on to starboard. Looks like he's going to get there first. As Mark makes the windward mark first, as I'm yawning, trying to stay awake here. A few guys stumbling and fall, so if you come to San Diego, watch your footing. But, get a little treacherous on you as Mark tries to get powered up. Mark's been hugging that far shore over there. Likes that. Keith making an appearance in A-Fleet, making himself known in the borrowed boat in the 8.8. So he's figuring things out here, battling for the lead on the first downwind leg as the rest of the boats come in and gobble everybody up. So Viz coming alive. There's Larry Grant saying hi to Mark. Saying, hey Mark, how's the Vente? And Vente versus Viz. Battle of the V's. We've got a Vickers out there. There's Keith in the 8.8 coming into frame. And we got Jimmy Sears, boy with a dream, out there. Jimmy's going to start selling some merch soon. But A-Fleet is definitely all cobbled together here. Let's rush down to these leeward gates. Looks like Mark gets there first. Larry going to the near side here. Chris Sullivan on this side. Jim Sears on the outside. Dennis Rogers on the outside. Jim Wando, 4.9 on the outside. So a pretty even split. Larry doing the tack and stall, but on starboard, forcing everybody else to get out of his way. There's Britpop versus Viz right here, side by side. There's Chris and Larry. There's really puffy shifty here today. Struggling to get that boat balance. Mark's still out front on rails. Jim Sears in the 7.4 making charge. Got George Pedrick over here in the 5.7. Coming up the right side. Chris Davidson in the 2.6. Also making some headway. There's Larry. If you remember, Larry and Mark went opposite ways. Larry going side to side. And that does not pay off because Larry's giving up some links to Mark. Mark tacks back on to port, looking for some energy. As George and Jim make their way up. 5 minutes in, almost 6 minutes in. Up to the windward mark for the second time, second and last time. Looks like Mark's getting there again in 5.5 as I run out of material here late on a Sunday on a 3-day regatta. Told you about my Chevy Love in high school, the V8 in it. How big deep. My dad used to take me here as a grade schooler, Vacation Isle. He used to have a big fiberglass whale that we'd swim out to. I was a little kid, all my big brothers and his friends take us out there and pummel the little brothers. Jimmy Sears finding himself in second place. Nice job, Jimmy. 7.4 boat. What happened to our man with the dream, Keith Ives, in the 8.8? Looks like his glory was short-lived. That was George Pedrick. He's up here in third place in the 5.7. Mark leading the pack on the shore and on the water. As 5.5 heads downwind. Going faster than everybody else. So there's Mark, there's Jim, in the 7.4. Compare all the sail shapes. There's George Pedrick in 5.7. It's like a lot of guys started twisting a little bit in the here in the puffiness. Not Larry, he's got the straight leech there on the main. Guess there's lots of ways to get it done. Chris Davidson in the 2.6, Dennis Rogers in the 4.3, Jess Atkinson in 5.6, sizing up a Mark. We're gonna go to the outsider, outside one. We'll follow Dennis. A little bow down action as wind picks up. Mark waiting for George. George catching up to Mark. There they are, 5.5. George in the 5.7. There's Jim Sears in the Sedici. The 7.4 with the draft stripes. As they go 1, 2, 3 up the course. Sizing up the finish line. It's Jim Sears and George Pedrick think about all the dirty tricks they can do to Mark. Mark's thinking about how do I defend myself against these guys. All the while, Larry Grant creeping up in 4th place. Mark goes way over on shore. Try to lay it on port. Larry's gonna make Mark duck him. As Larry heads upwind as far as he can. Big righty coming. So Larry's squirting up there. Mark trying to make some stuff happen too. As the dirty tricks evolve, it looks like Larry Grant, king of the dirty tricksters, made it. Mark led the whole race and maybe 3rd. So tough sailing conditions here at Old Model Yacht Pond. Uh-oh. Clock died. Okay. Can't quite hear the clock. I'm way at the west side of the lake. It's like one boat's got some issues. But we're off in a B fleet race. Maybe 17B? 18B? Not sure. I'm on the struggle bus and back in C fleet. And as the B fleeters head upwind, some attacks offshore. George Pedrick and Bob Wells doing the dance over there. Maybe not George. Definitely Bob. His eyes. Maybe zoom in. Can't quite see sail numbers, but I see those angled draft stripes. Bob Wells in the green boat. We've got Gary Winton here in the other green boat, the draft stripes. Stefan Cohen in the 2.8 as we tack upwind. Looks like it's David Ryan in the 9.7 that was over on the shore with Bob, but holy shifty flukiness here this afternoon, folks. It is anybody's name, anybody's game. Head upwind here, the windward mark. Team Britpop has a discussion about crossing or not crossing. And Dave Woodward in the 107. Chris Sullivan is 6'2". Forcing Dave to duck. Chris just gonna squirt it, I think. Now's in a better position here. Gary comes around, Dave comes around, Dave comes around, Stefan comes around. There's Bob Wells in the 07. Chris Sullivan's first to turn downwind, followed by Gary Winton. Dave Woodward in the 107. Dave Ryan. Dave's going 2x2 downwind, 9.7. Got Stefan in the 2.8, followed by Bob Wells in the 07. Pride of Idaho, Bruce Anderson in the 1.6, holding down the fort. Team Clocky, Team Bull, is back at the ranch, tending to business, while we down here sailing away. As check in with our leaders. Chris Sullivan over there in the 6'2", Dave Ryan the 9.7, Gary Winton the 5'4", and Dave Woodward in the 107, Bruce Anderson in the 16. Here comes Bob into frame in the 07 boat. Bob sold me the Britpop I'm using now. A little bit of trivia. Bob has ties to 3 of the boats on the pond this weekend. As we head down to those leeward gates, waiting to see what happens. Sorry, sail numbers are getting a little grim. Oh, Dave Ryan on the outside there. 9.7 boat. Sure what happened to Chris Sullivan. Around somewhere. Stefan to the outside, Bob to the outside. It's probably Bruce Anderson. Oh, Jim Wando in the orange boat. Sorry. Zoom. Use the zoomage. There's Gary Winton in the 5'4". Alright, Chris Sullivan still out front, the 6'2", leading the charge, and the Britpop on starboard. Looks like he's going to easily cross port tackers. And Brian decides to tack away as Chris gets a little lifted to the mark. boys carry on. Dave's gonna run out of water soon. These things get a little shallow. Dave bails out. Chris bails with them. On a loose cover, needs to get back over here to the right side of the course. There's Man with a Dream, Keith Ives in the 8-8. And Bruce Anderson trying to power up the Britpop. Kind of will it to the mark. He just points it at it and wills the wind to conform to his point of sail. As Keith tacks off the beach, has to duck Bruce. Unsuccessful duckage. And a little hookage. As Dave Woodward is the benefactor of all that tacking. The 107. Nice job, Dave, squirting into first in the Speed Fleet race. Want to be top 4. Move on to A Fleet. There's Gary Winton right behind him. Happy with the second. Chris Sullivan got rifled back to from first to fourth. Not sure what happened. Stefan Cohen there in the 2-8. And down, Dave Ryan. Go to the mark, Dave. Bob Well. This is the, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6 boat. Yep, 6th place, 7th place. Jim Wandalek, Gene Elliott, the 7-8. Bruce in the 1-6, Keith in the 8-8. Lenny Bowes in the 1-6-8. Back in with our leaders, that's Dave Woodward. Running like a scalded cat downwind in the 107. Out in the front. Got Gary Winton in the 5-4. Chris Sullivan squirting back to third. Stefan Cohen out there. On the right, Dave Ryan in the 9-7. As the boys stay powered up. Wind getting a little lighter here, I guess. I don't know. As Dave Woodward gets down there to the shoreside gate, followed by Gary Winton. Looks like Stefan Cohen might go to the outside gate there. See if he can get some gains. He just needs to hang on to fourth. So we got Chris Sullivan, Gary Winton tacking away on starboard, crossing the fleet. Stefan Cohen as puffs warm up here again. Dave Woodward hangs on, getting heeled over, powered up. The bow, water splashing off the bow. Let's see if we can get a close-up action of that. Dave just splashing in the 107 out front. Gary Winton in the 5-4, heading over to the beach. As I learned to keep the boats in the frame, got enamored with my super close-up idea. Got Chris Sullivan, looks like he squirted his way back to third. As Dave coming in, give Dave his 37 seconds of fame on the Olympia Model Sailors YouTube channel. Followed by dozens of subscribers all over the world. Like, subscribe, hit that notification. Nice job, Dave. Got Dave in first. It's like Chris Sullivan squeaked back to second in the 6-2. Fawn going. We got Dave Ryan going fast. Shooting for that third, fourth. Got, oh boy, 5 boats here in contention.
97, 88. Green boat, 28, 78, 8, 49. Green boat is 07.
Oh boy. Keith, what the hell?
I'm just glad to not be on the bubble.
All right.
See how every race today.
You get a break. You earned your break. Oh, general recall. Got up for. All right, looks like the last A Fleet race of the day. Chris Sullivan just racing down the pin end of the line. I think he's done this earlier where he just gets out, gets the fast, and can tack across the fleet. But I think the right-handers, oh, now the right-handers went back the other way. Chris is getting in the shallow water zone. Tacks back out. Jim Sears in the 7-4, getting to go up along the beach a little bit. Tacking away. Sully forced attack on the starboard tackers. As somebody working the beach side here. George Pedrick, the 5-7. Over here with Mark Galson in the 5-5. As we head up into the last race of the day, got Jess Atkinson over here in the 5-6. Going strong in the V12, decides, hey, maybe I gotta get back over here to the right. Protege, Mr. Davidson, 2-6. There's Larry. I've never seen a port approach I didn't like, Grant.
Jim again.
As, get up here to the windward mark. As usual, Mark Galson on to starboard here first. Gonna make it. It's like George Pedrick's gonna get there a little bit in front of him, but has to throw a tack in. Oh boy.
Close, boys.
Talk about the door slamming shut.
I don't know, but someone's laying all over me.
Oucher. That was a rough one.
Nice. Slam us over like that, guys. Man, who's fucking playing penalty for God's sake? Well,
as we get through that, I don't know. That might be a good case study for something. But anyways, back to our leaders. George Pedrick out there in the 5-7. Mark Galson in the 5-5. Got Jess Atkinson coming down the inside in the 5-6. Dave Woodward in the 107. Got Dennis Rogers out there in the 4-3. Jim Sears in the Sedici 7-4. Says, I don't need no Vente. I got the Sedici, the OG, the original. As everybody eyeballs up the Leeward Gates. Got Mark and George. Probably coming to this inside, beach side. As Mark and George heading back upwind in the blue boats. Another blue boat in third, Jim Sears. Looks like he's doing a nice wide tactical rounding. Start wide, finish tight. As Jim heading upwind for the 1, 2, 3 blue boat. Dennison there ruining the blue boat theme. Got Dave Ryan, another blue boat in the 9-7. As the crazy shifty puffies come through. I don't know how these guys are doing it. I felt like an absolute beginner out there. Could not keep the boat heeled consistently. That's Mark in 5-5. Heading upwind. George on his hip. On an easy day sail. Mark getting lifted. Probably stay on that tack for a while. What happened to Boy with a Dream? Boy with a Dream. Sailing some extra distance out there, Jimmy, in the 7-4 boat. Crossing the fleet on starboard. Mark's taking some medicine, tacking across. As George and Mark head upwind. Tacking duel, not really, but trying to outsmart each other. Mark's just trying to put distance in the bank. George cutting over a little early. Mark taking that height to the bank, and then gets a big puff that takes him straight towards the mark. So thought he was going to have to give some back, but some good gains there by Mark in the 5-5. There's George, 5-7, doing the noble thing on starboard. Jim Sears in the 7-4. Maybe he can get a little bit of the Mark Galson treatment, get lifted to the mark. We got Larry Grant here on starboard in the 8-5. Force some tackage. Keith Ives. Keith to finish out the A fleet. Nice way to finish out your IOM debut. We got Jimmy Sears in the 7-4. Got attack and make it in third for the blue boat third. Larry's the blue boat fourth.
Contact.
Yep.
Keith takes his medicine, does his turn, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boats past Keith. So that's what a penalty turn costs you. Although Keith didn't have much choice, if he would have went around, maybe it would have cost him the same thing. So damned if you do, damned if you don't in that scenario. As oh boy, Mark and George have just chucked out. There's Mark in the 5-5, going fast. Almost a whole leg on these guys. Mark gonna go to the outside. George gonna follow in 5-7. Well, George trying, gonna go opposite. Gonna play opposite day with Mark. Why settle for second when you can maybe get a first? So George gets back on the starboard, see if he can get some favorable winds, get a little lift, get in front of Mark. But Mark maintains his lead as the rest of the fleet comes through. Tries to miss each other. There's Mark picking his way through. George back there picking his way through also. As head upwind for the last time, last race, 8 minutes and 30 seconds in. They made quick work of this course. Mark is just on a rail. So is George. George's had a good weekend, I think. George is trying to get the memo out about not setting buoys too far away from the skippers. So he's drawn up some memorandum, letter of understanding. Try to get us PROs and race organizers on the same page, not set marks too far away. So there's Mark Gallison in the 5.5. Looks like, what did I call it, Mark the Grinder Gallison earlier. So Mark's been grinding it out from the front, so I don't know if much grinding, but just a whole lot of winning. Another bullet for Mark. Another bullet for Mark. Second for George. Single digit number. It's kind of like being a scratch golfer. If you're up to the front, you can keep score all the time. And George made it in second. And a little more of a battle for third here. Dr. Jim, boy with a dream, rocket boy. Jim never saw a roof he didn't like to climb on and watch some rockets take off. And Jim waits for a puff, and there it comes. And the 7.4. That was, oh, I forgot to note, Mark's running hardly any draft stripes. Got one little tiny baby one up the top of his jib. Right there's Jim Sears in third. Nice job, Jim. Way to leave your finish. Chris Davidson in the 2.6, fighting back. He was dead last on the first beat. Was he make it back to a fourth? That's a heck of a comeback. Nice job, Chris. Yeah, Chris was parked here on the windward mark, I think. That's all she wrote. Hey, Chris, nice comeback. That's all she wrote. That's it from sunny San Diego. It's all over but the trophies.